Hey, what's going on? This is Icon going over the review for Clash of Champions. We're going to be going over all the matches, including the kickoff show. Want to get right into it, so let's go. The first match of the night was the kickoff show match. It was Alicia Fox taking on Nia Jax. And this was actually a very interesting match for me. I wanted, because they didn't really do much with the build of it. After they had that backstage encounter, so I was wondering how this was going to go, and to my surprise, they actually did a good job of letting Alicia Fox shine. Like they let her do her thing. She did get some offense on. It wasn't like a 10-second squash match that everybody thought it was going to be. She actually showed that that she's in the WWE for a reason and she's on the roster for a reason. But of course, Nia Jax being the new girl, Nia Jax being the person they're trying to pin as the dominant force. She obviously got the win here, but you got to give 100% respect and props for Alicia Fox for doing what she did. It's actually good to see her, in a match that's actually given time for a change, especially seeing how they put her on Raw. But, this match, pretty much turned out how everybody thought, which was Nia Jax getting the win. So, good effort by both ladies, and, we're moving right along to the next competitor. So the first match of the night for the actual show ended up being the Tag Team Championship match, which was the New Day versus Gallows and Anderson. And Gallows and Anderson did something that they should have been doing this entire time and during this entire feud, that they jumped the New Day right from the opening tip. They took Xavier Woods out, took Big E out, and they showed why the two of them were actually a really good team and why they got so much buzz that they got in Japan. They pretty much got 90% of the offense during this entire match. Hell, I'd go as far as say they got 99% of the offense. During this match, like the New Day just had no answer for them. They tried every single thing that they could, and Gallows and Anderson, they were looking like the Revival at one point with all the counters and stuff. But in the end, the New Day using the 3-on-2 advantage to their advantage, actually taking the heel route with Xavier Woods hitting Anderson in the face with the trombone, which allowed Big E and Kofi to get the pin, which was pretty much sums up all the offense that the New Day got. But they do win, much to the delight of the crowd. They are now tag team champions for today marks the 400th day in a row, so 400-day champions. I think about 78 days more to go before they tie Demolition. And I think at this point, Vince will probably just have them break Demolition's record, just so nobody can bring up the Demolition record ever again, since they obviously have no plans on putting Demolition into the Hall of Fame. The feud between Gallows and Anderson and the New Day now, I hope, is officially over, and we can actually move on, and hopefully the New Day will get a chance to do something with another tag team, maybe Enzo and Kaz, who didn't have a match on the pre-show, shockingly, despite the fact that they've had beef with the Colon brothers, the Shining Stars, for the last couple of weeks, and the fact that they haven't actually won a match in a long time. It would have been good to see them beat the Shining Stars to get back on track. So if they do end up getting into a program with the New Day, it would have been worth it. But that didn't happen. New Day's still your tag team champions. Moving right along to the next one. Now, in our next matchup is the Cruiserweight Championship match. Surprising with how this match started, because they ended up turning the ropes back purple, which I thought was completely silly and pointless. Like, if you were going to do that, you should have just started the show with purple ropes and then changed it as it goes along. But to do like the whole back and forth was kind of silly. But anyway, as pointless as the purple was, like, we get it as the Cruiserweight Classic, the belt's purple. But TJ Perkins, it has to be pointed out, he comes out with the Mega Man theme song, the Mega Man theme remix. I forget which Mega Man. I think it's either Mega Man. It might have been Mega Man 3. I would say the Mega Man 3 song remix. So yeah, kudos to him. That's actually pretty cool. Have nothing bad to say about his entrance. The kid looks like he's ready to go. Although the match between him and Brian Kendrick pretty much had no build to it. I mean, even after they did the Fatal 4-Way for the number 1 contenders match, it's not like Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins had a backstage altercation or had words. Like, TJ wasn't even doing commentary during the Fatal 4-Way match. Like, the dude spoke for the first time at this pay-per-view, and when he came out, everybody was probably like, who the hell is this kid? So, this was their first chance. If they didn't have the network and didn't watch the Cruiserweight Classic, this was their first chance to see what he could do. And I do have to say, maybe it was because he was facing Brian Kendrick, who's an older guy that doesn't really do much high flying anymore. But I thought but for a cruiserweight championship match, I actually thought the match was very slow paced. When you do these cruiserweight matches, people are used to the high flying spots. People are used to the fast paced action. People are used to the running around and the jumping. This was more, I guess, this was more technical, which made it seem like it was taking T.J. Perkins out of his comfort zone because he likes to, do the high flying stuff. But it was a good match. I mean, let's be honest and call a spade a spade. We all knew Brian Kendrick wasn't going to win. We knew he was basically just the sacrificial lamb to put the young guy over. And that's exactly what happened. T.J. Perkins was able to get the reverse figure four submission on Brian Kendrick. Kendrick taps out as we all knew he would. And T.J. Perkins, no surprise, has retained the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. Because why would he lose it when he just won it not too long ago at the Cruiserweight Classic? So hopefully now this is this will give another challenger, a more younger challenger, somebody that can go toe to toe with this kid. It'll give him a little bit of a challenge at the next pay-per-view. Maybe hopefully we'll see him on Raw a little bit more, and we can really see what he can do, and we can really put some shine on the rest of the guys. But like I said, this match is basically designed as as a throwaway match to get the kid over. So hopefully it did the job, and the fans will accept him and embrace him. But with that being said, the old dog wasn't ready to be put out to pasture just yet. Brian Kendrick in a last match moment gives the kid a hug, says congratulations, then in the heel fashion gives him the headbutt and puts him on his ass. So apparently, we haven't seen the last of Brian Kendrick, and looks like he'll be a thorn in TJ Perkins' side for a couple more weeks to come. Now on to we're just going to call it's supposed to be the 7th, but we're basically going to call it the 9th match between these two, because the two of them had 2 one-on-one matches before they even announced the seven match series between Cesaro and between Antonio Cesaro and Sheamus. And this is the 9th time that the two of them have wrestled. During the match, it has to be pointed out, Cesaro gave Sheamus a boot to the face and put him on the outside, and then Cesaro, for some reason, thinking he's Rey Mysterio, does the 619, then tries to do an outside dive and pretty much almost killed himself. It looked like Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, only Cesaro didn't tuck and roll, and he literally landed on his neck. So at this point, I actually thought the match was over and then the referee was going to stop it. But it looks like Cesaro wasn't hurt at all. But the way, his body contorted the opposite way is just kind of gruesome. It definitely didn't look good. Hopefully the guy's okay. There's no long-term damage suffered there. And then we continue on with this match. It was fast-paced action, it was good hard hitting, uppercut after uppercut, slam after slam, and the two of them were really going at it, to the point where I really started getting into it. The fans started getting into it, because these two really turned the Jets up. And then on the outside, they're brawling on the outside after Cesaro takes the bro kick, and this is the point where the whole thing got weird. A lot of people were upset about this outcome. I mean, I was upset at it too, but for a different reason. Cesaro clotheslined Sheamus over the barricade, and after everything that they put them through, after all the running, after all the jumping, the slamming, the diving, all the crashing and burning, this clothesline over the barricade was enough to put both of them out, to the point where the referee saw it fit to stop the match. There was a guy that was sitting in a chair that got knocked over when the two of them went over the barricade. I don't know if that was a WWE employee or a random fan. Hopefully it was not a random fan, otherwise Vince will be getting sued. But they ended up, checking on both guys, and the referee determined that neither one was fit to continue the match, despite Cesaro screaming at the referee saying, "I can wrestle with one shoulder," and Sheamus just looked like, he was just ready to go, looked like there wasn't a problem. Now, out of all the moments in wrestling history, when a GM or someone, okay, look at Joe, when a GM or someone, is in the back, GMs, general managers have come out and restarted matches for less than this. They've restarted matches for some of the silliest reasons, and to allow this to go through, to allow the referee's decision to let the stopping of this match go through, I thought was really silly. Now, the biggest problem, people hated it. People didn't like the fact that you put us through 7 matches and then you didn't get an outcome. The problem that I have with it is a little bit different. I don't necessarily have an issue with the fact that the match ended in a no contest. The problem that I have with it is that now we have to see them wrestle again. And the two of them have been wrestling each other for the last 2-3 months. And I'm getting to the point where I'm actually getting a little sick of seeing it. They put up a good fight tonight. Like, tonight was a really good match. Like, had the feud ended tonight, I'd have been like, hey, they've been doing this for a long time. They finally entertained me and got me off my seat. Let's put it to rest now, move on to somebody else. But nope, it's a double, like a no contest, like a double no contest, if that's even a thing. And it looks like, there's a rumor going around that they're going to put the two of them, together as a tag team and make their championship opportunity be a tag team title match, which I don't want to see, and I hope that doesn't happen either. So, for the love of God, let's just let them fight one more time and, have it end already and let one of these guys move on, hopefully Cesaro, to face Kevin Owens for the WWE Universal Championship. Next, we got Sami Zayn, who has done nothing since winning at Battleground, ends up fighting Chris Jericho, who's not even a champion. Neither guy is champion. So this match is completely pointless. I don't know why it's here, and we're not going to spend too much time on this. One, because it's not a championship match at a pay-per-view called Clash of Champions, and two, Chris Jericho gets the victory, which makes Sami Zayn continue to look foolish, because because the man has not done anything since he beat Kevin Owens at Battleground. He's constantly taken loss after loss after loss. Chris Jericho gets the win. That's great for Jericho. He gets another victory. I mean, after all the times he puts people over, you like to see Chris Jericho get a victory every now and then, but the match basically was just a card filler, and they didn't even need the match because the show went over about 5-10 minutes anyway, so we could have did without this altogether. I mean, it is nice to see Sami Zayn finally do something on a pay-per-view, but he takes the loss, so then it's just like, whatever. Chris Jericho gets the win. Next, now on to some more championship matches on the Clash of Champions. Now on to Raw Women's action. We got Bayley versus Sasha versus Charlotte. 3 out of 4 horsewomen going for the gold. And, the match was kind of funny because, in the beginning they played the whole, Charlotte and Sasha, like, this is about us, Bayley, you're just here along for the ride. And they really treated Bayley, like she was a second-class citizen. And I gotta say, this was supposed to be a triple threat match, but it was really a fatal 4-way because Dana Brooke was involved. There are no disqualifications in a triple threat match. And I don't know why Dana Brooke just didn't put herself in the ring and just keep one of the girls occupied, during the entire time. I mean, she got involved enough to the point where she might as well just got in the ring and just started wrestling. So they should have just turned the whole thing into a fatal 4-way. But I do have to say that Bayley came out looking really bad in this entire match because she was the one that was getting disrespected. She was the one that kept taking all the bad hits. They made Bayley look like the little sister. You got the older sisters that are actually duking it out, and when the little sister tries to get herself involved, she keeps getting mushed in the face and and sent back. But with that being said, it was still a good, fast-paced match. All 3 girls, did their thing. The Dana Brooke interference was getting annoying after a while, but not because she was doing it. It was just because it's like, if you're going to get involved, then just get involved and just get involved the entire time. Seeing how the focus on this entire situation is supposed to be Sasha versus Charlotte, I knew Sasha wouldn't get the pin, and wouldn't get the pin or be pinned, and just to get Bayley out of the way, Bayley takes the fall. Sasha still looks strong. And hopefully at the next pay-per-view, which is Hell in the Cell for Raw, which is in Boston, by the way, Sasha will get her championship rematch, the solo one-on-one championship rematch that she's deserved, and then we can move on with this feud. But overall, like I said, it was a good match. Good effort. Good effort by the girls. I was entertained by it. By how it was portrayed. There was a part of me that was hoping Nia Jax would show up and just throw everybody over over the top rope and claim dominance. But we didn't get that. And shout out to Charlotte for one of the best moonsaults in the business today. Good effort by Sasha Banks as always, setting herself up to eventually take that title, and good outing by Bayley to show that she wasn't drafted for no reason. She's actually here to stay. So like I said, still loving the SmackDown women stuff a little bit better right now, but I'm always entertained whenever I see Sasha Banks in the ring, so I'm definitely good with that. surprise match of the night right here, Roman Reigns versus Rusev. And going into this, I said there is no way on this planet they will let Roman Reigns walk out with the United States Championship, which is the middle title, when he's supposed to be the main guy on Raw. But WWE decided to give the fans a break, or hell, to give Roman Reigns a break from the fans and remove him from the heavyweight title picture, which is good. I'm not really against that because the fans are just booing the guy for no reason. Daniel Bryan's retired. We got to get that sent off him. And to be honest, people don't even know why they boo him at this point. They just boo him because everybody else boos him. So keeping him out of the heavyweight title picture will give the fans a chance. Will give the fans a break, and then hopefully now they'll get off the guy's back and and give him a chance to breathe, because he's been putting on a lot of great matches over the last few months. But in this match, he puts Rusev down with the spear from hell, and Roman Reigns becomes the new United States champion. And there were some cheers in the crowd. People were actually clapping. It was more of a, hey, congratulations, now we don't have to see you in the heavyweight title picture. But people were happy to see Rusev, get defeated. People like Roman Reigns. They're just afraid to admit it because they think that the masses don't like Roman Reigns, and people don't want to be on the outside looking in all the time. But if you like the guy, you like the guy. Like, don't be afraid to say you like the guy. And if somebody else doesn't like him, then that's their opinion. So happy that he's the United States champion. I hope he gets a decent run with it. And then after his run with the U.S. title's over, maybe now the fans will come to appreciate the man, and then he can get back into the heavyweight title picture, and then we can really get things going. Really get things going over on that end. But good match, and kudos to Roman Reigns, U.S. champion in his house. And finally, on to the main event. We have Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, Universal Championship match. And again, Kevin Owens just won the title. This is his first title defense. So, I didn't think Kevin Owens was gonna lose the belt, especially not to Seth Rollins, because they're trying to build up this Triple H thing with Seth Rollins, so they're not gonna put the gold on him. Surprisingly, everybody thought Triple H was gonna show up. People kept saying Goldberg was gonna show up. Why, I don't know. And what we ended up getting, surprise, surprise, instead of getting interference by Triple H or interference by anybody else, we get the gift of Jericho. Drink it in, man. And Jericho came out to help his best friend Kevin Owens. Even was wearing the Kevin Owens t-shirt, in support of his friend. And due to the interference by Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens was able to get an advantage, to get a Dana Brooke advantage on Seth Rollins. But the unfortunate side of this match was there was a point where the referee ended up getting taken out of commission, as we see all the time in these matches. And then, surprise, surprise, Stephanie McMahon, in an effort to quote-unquote do the right thing, sends a referee out there to continue the match. And for some reason, the referee comes out there and checks on the other referee. Every single time a second referee is brought out in a match, because the first referee got taken out, the guy runs right past the old referee, jumps in the ring, and continues to handle business. But in this case, the referee started helping the first referee, which made Seth Rollins look at him like, hey, idiot, what are you doing? Which is the first thing that I thought. And then when Seth Rollins turns around, he catches the pump-up power bomb, and Kevin Owens gets the 1-2-3 victory. Stephanie McMahon walks away with a smirk, trying to imply that maybe this was done on purpose. So it looks like Seth Rollins is going to have some more bitching to do when he shows up on Raw. Best part about the entire thing, Chris Jericho comes out next to Kevin Owens, raising his hand as though like the two of them just won the tag team championships. And not only is he celebrating with, like, it's kind of hard to focus on Kevin Owens when you got Chris Jericho next to him acting a damn fool. There was even a point where Jericho started singing "We Are the Champions," and I'm just like, dude, you don't even have a title, and you're the only guy on the entire card, who wasn't fighting for anything along with Sami Zayn. So what the hell do you mean we? But you gotta say that Chris Jericho is doing some of the best work he's ever done in his entire career. It's crazy, it's entertaining. Everybody loves it. Shit, I love it. So that was the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. I mean, overall, I give the show like a 6 or a 7. I give it a 7. Like, I'll give the show a 7 only because the wrestling was good. The actual wrestling itself was good. the problem that I had, was all the outcomes. You have a pay-per-view called Clash of Champions, and actually, you know what? I can't even front. The pay-per-view was they gave us exactly what they said they was going to give us. They gave us a Clash of Champions, and with the exception of Rusev, every single person who was a champion walked out tonight with the championship. So this was a Clash of Champions, and all the champions prevailed except for one. I mean, you got to give us at least one title change, and I was surprised it was Roman Reigns. But Clash of Champions, all the champions retained. And that's why, I had to take some points away. It's like you gain points by putting on good matches, because all the matches were good, all the matches were watchable, all the matches were entertaining. Even the pre-show match with Fox and Nia Jax, the matches weren't a problem. It's just that the outcomes of the matches and the storytelling leading up to a lot of these matches, which was really bad. And it's hard to get invested in certain things. And then for no titles to change hands whatsoever, it's kind of like, okay, you basically just gave us a glorified version of Raw. But but solid 7. The SmackDown Backlash pay-per-view was a lot better, but I am looking forward to Hell in a Cell. Maybe we'll get we'll get some more stuff going here. Tonight we have Monday Night Raw, so maybe we'll get a little bit of oomph, on some of these feuds going into Monday Night Raw. Let's start over fresh. Let's get some fresh feuds going since everybody retained, and let's move forward to the next pay-per-view. So that was the Clash of Champions review. I am the Icon, and this is just saying. Keep it locked, and I'll talk to you soon.